past, fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. And now, this series. What if Deku had Kevin 11's powers, or was Kevin 11? Now, with this series, it's going to be a little bit more different. And I believe I should start out with Izuku's parents. Hisashi. At the current moment, Hisashi, he is a mechanic, and he is working in a shop, while Inko herself, she is currently working on getting a job. However, she is also trying to put herself through school and provide for herself. Now, Hisashi's quirk, let's say that he can turn himself into any object or material that he is able to physically lay his hand on. He cannot copy quirks, however. And Inko's quirk, it's a small little stockpile ability. In fact, she has been misdiagnosed as quirkless, since this quirk I want to say would be easy to overlook, especially if no further tests are conducted after childhood. Now, with that being said, one day, there is a villain attack, and it is close by to where Hisashi's work is. And Inko is currently coming by. She is running late for a day at university. And this is whenever she accidentally walks into the path of a villain. And pro heroes try and move in to save her. However, Hisashi, who ran away from his workplace to see what was going on because of the explosions and the debris flying around, was able to run in. Him quickly putting his hand on a car and turning into solid steel, running in and being able to actually slam into the object that was moving towards this woman. As he does, he actually does break it in half and save her, quickly picking her up and running to safety. Now, the moment that does actually happen, people crowd around this man as the attack is still going on, asking about his strange quirk. The man quickly looking around before spotting a woman with a diamond ring, as he actually has grabbed this woman by her hand and put his finger on the ring. People watching his quirk work in progress. Hisashi turning his right arm into solid diamond, as he does go to run back in. The woman quite interested. What was that young man's ability? I don't know. But did you see that? Yes. That's quite strange. Inko finds this to be quite alarming, watching as Hisashi does try and help the pro heroes and save people, along with actually being able to get his name in the papers and on the news for helping to stop a villain attack. Now, with that being said, a few days would have gone by, and eventually whenever Hisashi is working on a car, Inko would have walked into his shop. And Hisashi would have been able to actually not hear her. Her trying to get his attention over the loud music playing. As, whenever he finally does get her, whenever she finally does get his attention, he does actually pause the music with a remote, before asking exactly what is she here for. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm not here for any car work or work on a vehicle. Okay, then exactly why are you here, ma'am? Well, that's actually quite simple. You saved my life. Oh, you must be the woman that was almost hit. Yeah, don't worry about it. Well, it's not just that. I had multiple questions. Many people did. In fact, you're actually quite famous for a moment. Hmm. Yeah, I kinda get it. Even then, I'm not one for fame. It's not really my style. Hmm? Really? Yeah, it's kinda pointless if you ask me. What's the point in just everyone watching you when you have to basically just be this perfect person? Even then, you'd have people who just judge you because you're not. And that just sounds damn stupid if you ask me. Hmm. Wow. Okay. Well then, I kind of wanted to ask you something. Hmm? Uh, sure, what's up? Well, it's just, I didn't really know how to thank you for saving me. Hmm? You don't need to. I just did something that any normal person would have done. In fact, I don't really know. I just saw something flying and someone in danger. My body sort of just moved on its own. Hmm? Really? Well then, you have a kind heart, Mr. Hmm? Just call me Hisashi. It's fine. Well, Hisashi, would you be interested in getting coffee sometime? Hmm? Are you asking me out on a date? Hmm? Well, possibly. You're a very interesting man. Very complicated. Hmm? Sure. And who might you be before I do ask? Hmm. Name's Inko. Hmm. Alright, Inko. I have a question though. Why didn't you use your own quirk? Hmm? Oh, well, I'm quirkless. Really? Damn. That's. I have never met a quirkless person before. Hmm? Oh, well, it's sort of just out of the ordinary. Hmm? Alright. Well, anyways. Hisashi giving her a business card, saying that his boss's number is there along with his own. People like to try and call him out to see if he can do any work for them. And since the shop doesn't get enough business around this side of town, they kind of have to sometimes leave and go do work elsewhere. Now, with that being said, Inko and Hisashi would begin to get to know each other. And eventually, Hisashi would have to leave his job to get a new one, since the shop finally went under. And this is whenever he finally did at least start working a somewhat different job. Now, the job itself is not important, but it would at least be somewhat better paying than his old one, especially since he would have certain experiences in areas of his own field. Now, eventually Midoriya is born, and we do have years later, where he is around the age of 4 years old. Doctors are trying to piece together what his quirk could be, especially since Midoriya should be manifesting one. Now, this is quite strange. From doing analyses on Midoriya's body, he seems to be developing a quirk, but whichever quirk it is kind of out of the question. Especially since multiple tools they have tried using don't seem to be working properly. Now, with that, doctors are still trying to piece together what Midoriya's quirk might be. However, we do have today at school, where everyone is talking about their own quirks introducing themselves. And Midoriya, the most that he knows about it from his mother is that his quirk is that he can disrupt electronics around him. That being shown over, Midoriya does actually walk over to the electrical outlet and bring his hand over it. People watching as electricity begins to shoot out into Midoriya's palm. Teachers begin to freak out, watching as Midoriya doesn't even react to it. The lights going out, and Midoriya holding up his hands, and revealing that he has electricity powers. Now, Bakugo, he wouldn't find this to be very interesting. And we do have later on at recess, whenever everyone is playing around, people asking Midoriya certain questions about his ability, and if that's all he can really do with it. Now, with that being said, Midoriya says that he's not too sure, and that he's still trying to figure that all out, as he goes to grab the metal rail to pull himself up onto his feet. Now, the moment that he does actually do that, as soon as he does try and let go of the rail, he finds that his hand is stuck, looking to see that it has turned black, along with his right arm, the same color as the metal, and he does actually try and pull himself away, grabbing his wrist and finding it to be just as solid and unmoving as the metal he's attached to. People looking on and wondering what Midoriya is doing, thinking that he's pulling a joke or something. However, Midoriya, he actually does try and swing around, and he does put his hand on the other wall. People watching as his hand turns into that material. And Midoriya, he looks at before he does actually begin to scream and somewhat freak out. Now, many different people are concerned by this, and many people do go to get a teacher. Bakugo thinking that he has a bright idea. He can just use his quirk to get Midoriya unstuck. He'll get praised for it, and he does actually step forwards, overconfidently stating that he's gonna save Midoriya. Now, he does actually bring his hand down to touch Midoriya's hand, saying that he'll just let out an explosion at point blank range. If Midoriya's hand is made out of metal, as he does actually somewhat tap on it, the moment he does actually tap on it, he hears an explosion. And a loud one goes off in Midoriya's palm, Midoriya's hand being blasted upwards before it hits the wall behind him. Bakugo, confused watching as Midoriya, he does just hold up his hand. Everyone watching as puffs of smoke just begin to go out. Bakugo beginning to scream before he does actually try and check on his own quirk, before saying that Midoriya, he's a copycat. He copied my quirk! What? What is this? I don't understand. My quirk? A teacher coming out and seeing the current scene. Midoriya's body, it seems to be reacting weirdly. His quirk. From absorbing the energy earlier, he does still seem to be somewhat producing a small magnetic field. That being seen, Midoriya does try to actually walk away from the metal. Now, his arm does somewhat begin to start reverting back to flesh, or its original state. However, the cement arm or the brick wall arm is still there. Midoriya holding up his hand and showing off an explosion. This surprising the teachers. Midoriya and Bakugo have the same quirks. However, that is not the case. A teacher going to grab Midoriya and hold him by his shoulder, saying that he needs to come with them to the office, or to the nurse's office. Watching as Midoriya does actually copy their quirk. Now, let's say that their quirk was... Let's say something easy, or something random. Let's say he just copies the random ability, and it's a physical mutation. Them watching as Midoriya immediately just has that mutation pop up onto his head. Let's say like an angler's antenna. Now, this is quite surprising, and they did not expect that. Truly, this is a copy quirk. And Midoriya is guided to the nurse's office, where the nurse, she does want to try and perform tests, But apparently with the way Midoriya's body is reacting and freaking out, that's not a good idea. He sat down in the chair and his legs turned into wood. Yikes, that sounds horrifying. That being what she does think. And then there is whenever Inko and Hisashi do arrive. Hisashi being able to get away from his job for a second, and Inko coming from her job. Now, this is whenever Hisashi can somewhat piece together what's going on with Midoriya. Now, the teachers are quite confused. However, Hisashi, he does plainly point it out. Midoriya has his own quirk. However, that is quickly thrown out the window whenever they do hear that Midoriya copied another child's quirk, along with absorbed electricity from a power outlet. Now, this takes Hisashi aback quite a bit. Whatever Izuku is doing, he's able to absorb power, no matter what it is, along with transmute his body into different objects. This is strange. It's basically my ability, but more advanced. Now, this does somewhat shock Inko, wondering for a minute how this is even possible. However, they quickly do learn that from taking Midoriya to a doctor and having multiple tests performed on him, along with actually introducing Midoriya to other kids and trying to copy their quirks, it's quite apparent as to what his power is. And they are able to have Midoriya calm down for a minute, giving him some gloves and explaining to him what he needs to try and at least focus on. Hisashi helping to give Midoriya a little bit of pointers about his own quirk, wondering if this would be the best way to go about this. Now, Midoriya does try and follow those pointers, and at least maintain focus on not transforming or turning his body into any material that he physically does touch. Now, with that being said, it was quite weird to adjust to at first. Midoriya wearing these gloves constantly, up until he is around, let's say, the age of 7. Whenever he does finally have his abilities somewhat down, and it doesn't seem to be very bad, or at least as bad as it was. Now, with that being said, Midoriya thinks that his ability, or one of his 3 abilities that his quirk can do, only ever works whenever he wants it to, and that is whenever it's the copying quirk ability. Now, Midoriya can copy and hold up to about 3 to 4 quirks at this current point. However, the appearance of his mother's quirk is somewhat beginning to manifest. Her quirk is a small energy stockpile ability, and Midoriya, he's able to absorb electricity and other powers. So, whenever Midoriya woke up one day, he found that he was actually able to produce lightning, believing this to be another quirk that he absorbed, or someone was able to manifest. Now, he does find that this ability is actually somewhat vital to his body. Upon going to a doctor, doctors explain that Midoriya's strange abilities and powers, they're actually somewhat of a double-edged sword. Midoriya's body will be constantly mutating to adapt to his environment and the world around them that he exposes himself to, and that the appearance of this strange quirk will eventually one day save his life. Because if they were to put it into perspective, saying that if he were to be born with this quirk, and it just constantly kept stockpiling power, and it has the ability to absorb power. Think of it like overfilling a battery one day, and what that would do. Now, they don't outright say it to this boy's face. However, Inko, she's able to piece together exactly what they mean by this wording or these phrases. Midoriya would one day possibly die from absorbing power and electricity. So, she is thankful for that this strange power and or ability has manifested, unaware that it is her own. Now, with that being said, we actually do have Midoriya today after school. Him being outside and trying to at least work on his powers. Now, we actually do have Bakugo, who does go see Midoriya as he is sitting down by a tree. And he actually does have some soda cans with him. Now, Midoriya just stole the 12-pack of soda from the fridge they had inside their house. And he's just been drinking the cans and shooting at the empty ones. Now, Bakugo is quite surprised to see Midoriya, asking what he is doing. Oh, hey Bakugo. Don't hey me, man. What's up? Oh, well, I went to the doctor again. Dude, you're always going to the doctor. Well, yeah. My parents didn't think I understood it. But I did. And what would that be? Well, apparently my body's going to be constantly mutating. Yeah. I guess that means my quirk's a mutation or physical mutation ability? I don't know. I'm still trying to learn a bit more about it, but you want to see something cool? Sure. Midoriya pointing his finger outwards, as if he is pointing a firearm. Before he does actually just bring his thumb down and press it down onto his middle finger. Bakugo watching as a beam of electricity or lightning shoots from Midoriya's fingertip. And it goes straight for the metal can. Him watching as Midoriya does actually hit it and melt the metal. Now, this is quite surprising. Bakugo is thinking, whoa, what was that? That was a release ability, I think. It was named or called, or what the doctor said. I have to release a certain amount of power, I guess. And if I hold too much inside of it, boom. Whoa. That's kinda heavy, don't you think? Well, I mean, I think so, yeah, but it's kinda like your quirk. My quirk? What do you mean? Well, I mean... Midoriya bringing his hand up and tapping Bakugo on the shoulder. Or on his arm, where there is bare skin making physical contact. Bakugo watching as Midoriya just brings up his left hand. And sparks begin to fly, along with the electricity. Hey, who said you can copy my quirk? But no, just watch. I want to try something. Midoriya holding out his left finger, doing the same process that he did before. However, this time he shoots a explosion directly from his finger, along with it at least sounding like electricity. Watching as it makes physical contact with the can, as the can absorbs the electricity, pulling the other cans in and exploding. This is surprising Bakugo. As Midoriya, he actually stares in awe at his finger for a second. Weird. That's very odd. Yeah, but I'm starting to get somewhat control on it. Okay. So, what's up then? Well, I don't know. I was hoping to just sit down here and relax. Midoriya grabbing a soda, handing one to Bakugo as he does grab one himself. The two cracking them open as they begin a small little chat. And eventually it does actually somewhat get to a funny point, where the mood changed from somewhat, hey, I might be in danger because of my ability, to, hey, my ability is actually somewhat pretty good. And if I'm able to utilize it the right way, I could probably be a pretty good pro hero. Now, with all of that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.